you stuck, in whatever pattern it's in. Because our moon has habitual behaviors, and it can keep wanting to do its thing, while Venus really needs to flower in a different way. That's if they're in conflict. But those are actually not so important. Those are more of luminaries as opposed to planets. Let's just talk about Venus and Mercury together. Venus and Mercury together, in the positive way, are beautiful words, incredible way of communicating, incredible ability to communicate. If they're opposite one another or conflicting or squaring, then you have a little bit of your mind is going one way and your love is going another way. All right, so your head could be, your head could be off in a different place, and the Venusian impulse is like, listen to me, and Mercury is like, no, I've got other things to think about and talk about and do, So it's, when they're in conflict, your head is cut off from, your head is even cut off from the ajna center. Do you know what I mean? Your head, it's all about the intellectual facts, and it's not about the intuitive seat, and it's not about the heart infusing the mind. Okay, does that make sense? And so these two planets together, writers, communicators, diplomats, wonderful ways of communicating. Mars, when you have Venus and Mars in a harmonious position, there's passion, there's excitement, there's dynamism. The masculine and the feminine are talking well together. They're having a good dialogue. They're having a juicy dialogue. They're having a lively dialogue. If they're square or opposite or in some conflicted position, Mars and Venus are at odds. We actually, in our hand group, we did an exercise where we tied ourselves together, and one was Venus and one was Mars, and there's the goal down there, and you try to get to the goal. Well, and Venus and Mars are fighting each other for the most part all the way down, right? And so that's that assertive part of you, that masculine part of you, that driving part of you, that fighting part of you that is at odds with the one that wants to have harmony, that wants to fuse, that wants synthesis, all right? Jupiter, I mentioned a little bit about Jupiter. I rarely talk when Jupiter and Venus are together in a chart. It's just generally like if they're trine or sextile or sitting next to each other, it's usually this incredible and just encouraging, like, go do your art, do your thing, abundant love, big love, joyous love. And it's and often very favorable circumstances. Like if Venus is well placed in a chart, you could grow up in very favorable circumstances. If it's square, if it's opposing, the only danger is it's too much of a good thing. The only danger is that you can't quite get yourself going. It shows up a little bit the shadow side of Venus. Right? That's well, we have to have gestures for every aspect. That's next week. Venus and Jupiter. Venus, Saturn, the sequoia. Commitment to love, very serious love, very disciplined creativity, very enduring love. If it's conjunct, if it's trine, if it's sextile, you could have a long-lasting, gorgeous relationship. You could have incredible commitment to your art. You feel the combination of those energies. Saturn says, let's be disciplined. Saturn says, let's be structured. Saturn says, let's have this, right? And Venus says, oh, okay, that feels good. It feels good to have a little structure. Okay, oh, you mean I'm going to get up every morning and write for half an hour? Great. Oh, I'm going to get up every morning and do my yoga? Great. It says, it loves it, all right? If it's square, or opposing, is a little bit of caution. It's a little bit of like, what you need to work on is going, it's okay, I'm safe. Okay, right? Venus square Saturn wants to withhold the love a little bit because it doesn't know what's it's gonna be met with. It doesn't trust it fully. Or it feels like it's, and oftentimes it has to do with Saturn, a father figure, like, what went wrong, But there's some kind of trust issue. There's some kind of fear around that. So a lot of times if there's Saturn opposite or Saturn square, you're dealing with trust in love, commitment in love, question mark, do I dare? And then you work on your chart, you work on the energies, and if you have Saturn square this Venus, great, spend the first 25 years of your life going, and then spend the rest of your life going, okay, I have a square, and it's okay, and I'm scared, and it's okay, and I'm gonna stand here, and I'm gonna commit to loving myself, and loving you, and loving in a broad way. You don't have to be stuck by your chart, you know? You're not like, this is who I am. This is like what you start with, and then what do you do with it, right? Okay. All right, Venus and Uranus. Venus and Uranus. This is like, you know, any trine, sextile, or conjunct. It's like unusual love, unusual creativity, modern art. You know, let's do something wacky. Let's do something unconventional. Let's take the juicy road less traveled, right? Let's. It's very easy to do. It would be great for improv. Okay. I'm taking an improv class. Oh my God, it's so hard. I don't have Venus. Well, actually I do. I do have Venus trine Uranus, so it shouldn't be so hard, but it's really hard. I'm really bad at it. Oh, I'm failing. But Uranus goes in there. I'm doing it though. I'm standing up there. If I have Venus in Aquarius, maybe in my 10th house instead of Venus in Taurus. Venus in Taurus is wants to take it a little bit slowly. And in Venus, improv, you can't take it slowly. So, yeah, I'll just tell you. In the you know the Aristocrats joke, you know that movie where it's like the most foul joke of the world, and you go and you're like, we have this act, and you know, and then this is what we do, and it's like horrible things, you know. Like, I won't even go into, you know, anything sexual, death-oriented, you know, messy. This is what we do. So our improv teacher at the end of class today is like, okay, we're gonna do a tag team Aristocrats. And so we're all in a semicircle, and somebody gets up and starts doing it, and this is the act, and you know, and then you're supposed to tag team out, and I just was like, and I just couldn't get it. I failed in my Aristocrats. I'm too much about beauty. I don't want that crass stuff. Oh well, I'll get up there one of these days. All right, so Venus and Uranus. If Venus is square Uranus, it's hot. You want to integrate the unconventional, you want to integrate the unusual, you want to integrate the innovative and the new, but it's a little bit like, again, it's a little bit, do I dare? It's like putting your foot in it and going, whoa, okay, that's a little bit unconventional, that's a little wacky, that's a little bit unusual, but I'm gonna try, okay? So it's and it can make for accidents, or it can make for like, yeah, I mean, it can make for sort of erratic, anxious energy, because you're trying to create the new, and you're trying to go the road less traveled, but in fact, at first it feels like the yearning for the unconventional and the inability to blend them, but then you blend them, then you do, right? Okay. Neptune, this is all about fantasy. This is, if you have Venus and Neptune, it's either like, this is like the ultimate, it could be the ultimate, like romance addiction, fantasy, like, oh gosh, you know, reading all kinds of fabulous romantic literature, yes.
Is that the positive?
No, I'll start with the negative. I mean, let's start at the bottom. You could get stuck in the world of illusion, the world of fantasy, the world of like idealized love. So you could be putting love on a pedestal and be like, that's what love is supposed to be. And then in fact, it's like, no, this is love, you know, it needs a healthy dose of Saturn when Venus isn't connected with Neptune. It needs like the reality of things.